I wish we could start on a better note, but I think we have to start with the unemployment compensation story, which continues. How many people lost their jobs this past week?
It's between 500 and 600.
See, that's a week before
Christmas. Before Christmas, and I had to deliver the news right before Thanksgiving. It was the saddest thing in the world, and to do it of all times at this time of the year is really. And it was needless. It was just something that didn't have to happen. We had worked in a bipartisan fashion throughout the year, starting back in April. Democrats and Republicans worked together to address an issue that had lingered for a number of years. A number of years ago, there was concern, before I became governor, there was concern about the solvency of the unemployment compensation fund. And so the fix was made by the then legislature and governor, and it addressed the solvency issue, but it was unfair to, I thought, and I think a lot of people did, to employees, and kept about 50,000 employees from getting benefits. So we addressed this, working together with Republicans in the Senate and House, to say let's figure out a way to address, by all means, honestly, the solvency issue, to make sure the unemployment compensation fund, has money well into the future. But let's be fair to employees. And so we came up with a compromise that brought between 40 and 50,000 employees, seasonal workers, into the system so that they could qualify for unemployment compensation. And that passed. I signed that bill, had Republicans, Democrats, senators, representatives, employees, employers standing behind me at the reception room. That was the hard work. We did it. All that had to be done was a little detail that was the authorization to use money in the Unemployment Compensation Trust Fund to pay for the service centers to help the unemployed workers get the benefits. No tax dollars. No tax dollars. This was
existing money.
But you had to have authorization, because you can't just take it out of the fund. So it was authorization. That passed the House overwhelmingly. That was really almost an afterthought. And then it went to the Senate just for concurrence, it's called. They have to agree. Right. Well, they didn't do it. And so that was sort of strange. But so I called the majority leader and I said, "Are you going to do this?" And he said, "Well, it sounds we should do this." He told me he wasn't quite sure, but it sounded like something that made perfect sense. My chief of staff called, got what she thought was an even clear.
When we talked about this last month, that seemed to be the big thing that was kind of sticking in your craw, that you had talked to them, you thought this was a done deal.
Because it seemed like an oversight. And they said, yeah. They came back, and the first I heard that they hadn't done it, they adjourned, went home. This is after the election. And when my chief of staff called for an explanation, the majority leader said, well, the caucus decided they didn't want to deal with it. It wasn't that they voted it down. They didn't bring it up. This is a bill that went through their committee system and passed unanimously, and a few people in their caucus decided just to blow it up. And one of them, the senator, stood up and proudly proclaimed that he had knocked it down.
Senator Wagner.
And then as soon as he found that wasn't really popular, he started complaining that this was really unfair. It's especially at holiday season to have this happened to good, hard-working people who are trying to do the right thing and serve people who are unemployed. After we have crafted this really long, drawn-out compromise, it's really it's not in the Christmas spirit. It's not in the holiday spirit.
Senator Wagner's argument was that there was no accountability in this funding extension. Why does he say that?
I don't know. I don't know why he says that, because he voted for a bill that actually was more extravagant in committee than the bill that actually was up for so he voted for it.
Right. Why did you give him, though, to show that accountability in the rest of the program?
From August on, we worked together to make this work. Now I later learned that when the full compromise was reported to the committee, he was at a global CEO conference in New York City, so couldn't be bothered to be there. But then I sent a package to just to make sure the leadership had all the information after they did this, and started saying things like, we didn't know. No, they knew, they blew it up, and as a result, 500 to 600 Pennsylvanians are out of work, have lost their job at the holiday season. It's unacceptable.